Thanks so much, Mel. Every year, hundreds of patients in Canada with diseases need a stem cell transplant to save their lives, many of whom are facing challenges finding a matching stem cell donor now more than ever due to the COVID pandemic. Joining us this morning to talk about the importance of registering to become a potential stem cell donor is Dr. Heidi Elmoazzen, Director of Stem Cells at Canadian Blood Services, and Mackenzie Curran. She is alive and well today, thank goodness, because of a life-saving stem cell transplant. Good morning and welcome and love to you both. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. So wonderful. Thank you.
It's so good to see you both.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, let's start with you, doctor, because we want to get into what stem cells are and why they're so important. Because a lot of people, we hear about it, but we don't really understand it.
Yeah, so the stem cells we're talking about are specifically blood-forming stem cells. So these cells give rise to the cells that we find in our bloodstream. So either red cells for carrying oxygen, white cells for fighting infection, or platelets, which are involved in blood clotting. And when somebody has a disorder or a problem with these stem cells, it makes it really hard for our immune systems to function. So stem cell transplantation can be used to treat over 80 diseases and disorders. And the most common things are things like blood cancers, so leukemia, lymphoma, multiple myeloma, but they can also be used to treat bone marrow deficiencies, so things like thalassemia, sickle cell disease, or aplastic anemia.
And what's been happening now because of the pandemic? Are you noticing there's, less people registering at this time?
Yeah, we're having a lot of challenges in recruiting during the pandemic. So about 25% of patients, when somebody needs a stem cell transplant, the first place they look is within somebody's own family. And 25% of patients are able to find a match within their own family. But for those other 75% of patients who don't have a match within their own family, they're reliant on an unrelated stem cell donor. And one of the biggest ways that we recruit these donors is through in-community swabbing events. And so with the COVID-19 pandemic, we've had a lot of challenges with holding these in-community swabbing events because obviously due to COVID-19, we can't gather in order to reduce the transmission of COVID-19. And so we've had to put some of these swabbing events on hold. So this has made it much more challenging to recruit new donors.
And you have amazing people like Mackenzie. Mackenzie, I was bawling. I saw that video, the PSA that you made. I want everybody to go online and watch it. You are incredible. Talk to us about what was happening in grade 10. There you were, living life, teenager growing up, playing basketball, and then something happened. You didn't feel like yourself. Talk to us about your journey.
Yeah, so for me, it was just being a normal teenager. I loved basketball. I loved hanging out with my friends. And then I just slowly started noticing that I was feeling way more tired than normal. I couldn't really quite get out of bed. And so I just did quite a bit of testing and finally found out that I was having a bone marrow failure. And that was quickly turning into a type of leukemia. So I needed, the only cure that they offered me was to have a bone marrow transplant. So I needed these stem cells to be donated from a stranger because like Dr. Heidi said, I was one of those 75% of people that didn't have a match in their family. And so we had to look in the worldwide registry to try to find that perfect match. And I'm super lucky now. I found that perfect 10 out of 10 match, and I'm now 7 years cancer-free. So yay. I'm just, trying to live every day to the fullest and so appreciative for my donor.
I can't even imagine what it was like waiting and then what it felt like to get that call saying, Mackenzie, we found your perfect match.
Yeah, exactly. I have found some other friends through my experience that unfortunately didn't have such a good experience. They have trouble finding matches because luckily for me, being Caucasian, there's lots of Caucasian donors that are in the registry, but for other people with more ethnic diversity, it's harder to find. And so for myself, right from the get-go, when I was diagnosed, I started recruiting people, friends and family, hosting events right from the start to try to see, who else could we help? Because I know that these people signing up probably wouldn't be my match, but I just tried to encourage them. You never know who literally around the world you could potentially be their one and only match in the whole world that could save their life.
To literally save somebody's life. That's why you're here today. And all it takes is, you just mentioned it, the swab. So if people are at home and they have nothing but time on their hands right now, why should they head on over to do this?
Yeah, like I said, you can help some person in the world that you don't even know, and you could be that one person that might be their perfect match. And so it's super simple. On blood.ca, you just sign up. Oh, there's our link right there. You can go on and get your swab kit. They mail it right to your house. just a quick swab of your cheek and you send it back, and then you kind of are on the list to say, hey, if someone is my perfect match, I'll donate. And it's just such a wonderful thing to do. You know, you never know who you could help.
Dr. Elmoazzen, I'll leave it with you. Is there anything else you'd like to impart on people watching today?
Yeah, Mackenzie touched on it. So we definitely have a greater need to recruit donors of all diverse backgrounds, and particularly if you're Indigenous, Black, South Asian, mixed race, we really encourage you to consider joining, because like Mackenzie said, only 33% of our potential donors are made up of non-Caucasian background. Another challenge that we have right now is that oftentimes when people do sign up to join the registry and finally get that call, like Mackenzie's donor got, only 50% of the time they actually follow through with their donation. And so we want people to really understand that joining the registry is a long-term commitment. You might get the call weeks from now, but the call also might come years from now. So we really just want people to know what they're signing up to and to be committed to joining. And so for those hundreds of patients right now who are waiting for a stem cell transplant, if you are between the ages of 17 and 35, we really encourage you to go online and mention it much more challenging for us to recruit potential donors. So if you can just go on to blood.ca/stem cells and join there.
It broke up a little bit there. Is it only ages 17 to 35, doctor, to donate?
Yes, that's correct. So if you're between the ages of 17 and 35, you can go to blood.ca/stem cells and join the registry.
Love to you both. Stay healthy and well, and thank you so much for this life-saving information today. Blood.ca/stem cells. Have a great day. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. Bye.
Love to you both. Over to Devo D. It's time to get moving in the morning. It's part of overall health.
Yeah, important information right there for sure. And this one, you can just do. It's going to be body weight workouts. It is going to be a little more intense than we have been doing. So get ready for it. CY is joining us right after the break.